Sounds like you had a pretty fun experience. Well, to our family members, we thank you for sharing this talent with us. Again, I'm Chris Ronan, I'm your Cuyahoga County Executive, and of all the things I talk about this year, and I mean this, fellows, students, I'm most excited to actually talk about you and your work. We will probably talk about you at our annual meeting this fall, because you are the flagship team that took the plunge, no pun intended, to get into the Freshwater Institute, and you are the first class. So here's to you on what you've done. I want to thank our partners here at the Foundry. Mike Ferry, I see you there, and the entire team. Thank you guys for being our hosts. Can we give them a thank you? I know my colleague, Councilwoman Turner, who's here today. Say hello to Meredith Turner, by the way. Thank you for joining us today. Meredith is an elected county councilwoman here in Cuyahoga County. She's one of 11 and covers a big district. And our team at Freshwater Institute that's now growing, but started with the hire of Emily Baca, we were really glad to work with Teaching Place and see at the top. I'm so thankful to you guys all for your partnership. But let me just quickly say about what this all means to us. To have you as the first fellowship group that came through this, you'll always remember that, and we'll always remember that. To the family members, I just wanted to give you quickly what our inspiration was to bring this entire program together. I told the students this when I first met with them, but years ago, I traveled with my wife as a tag-along, a lucky date to go to Costa Rica with my wife, who was then the Cleveland Botanical Garden director. What we noticed is that the students of Costa Rica knew the value of the place they were in. They knew how important the rainforests were for our ecology and for our global sustainability. And they were the tour guides of the rainforest. They were the ones giving all the tours. People your age, students, were giving tours. And then years later, I got a lucky ticket to go see the Glacier National Park out west and learned really from students what was happening in the climate and what was in front of us and what the challenges are. So the inspiration was to come back home and say, what if we designed a program that could actually work with students to be the real future ambassadors to the Great Lakes and to the Freshwater Institute? And that's you. And we really appreciate what you've learned from the history of this place. Obviously, we learned about the river that burned and the river that's now returned, the river that became, about a month ago, a national recreation trail. Give it up for the Cuyahoga, right? And the river that's become cleaned up to the point that just not too long ago, right at the back door of the Foundry, we saw the Ohio Department of Natural Resources reintroduce steelhead fish into the waterways. So it's a fishing river now all over again. That was a river that 56 years ago burned and has returned to be an unbelievable ecological benefit to our community. I love when I hear the ships go by and I hear that sound in the background. But it's also about the 20% of the world's fresh water supply in front of us, the Great Lakes. We have a stewardship responsibility, and I know our fellows now know that. We've got something special. We've got something to protect. And because of you, I want to tell you that you're the first part of this program, the education side of it. But it's also about advocacy, and it's about access, and it's about economic development. Janita, do I have that right? I want to just introduce our climate chief, Janita, who she and I have over and over talked with our team about what do we really hear about. We're here about education. We're here about advocacy. We're here about economic development, and we're here about access. But you started all as now educated fellows with Freshwater. But because of you, I want to mention a good news story. Emily and I are going to be traveling to the city of Philadelphia in July. And because of you and because of the story that we can kind of carry to others, we have started a national group of counties, 81 counties from Minnesota to New York. And yes, we still love Canada. Across the pond there, we're bringing in Ontario and Quebec into the conversation. And I'm going to be the chairman come this summer of something called the Great Lakes Caucus, which is the National Association of County Officials, 81 counties across the lakeline. But they've all heard about you. We presented your work this past, May in Washington, D.C., and the work that you are doing. You students, you fellows, are actually helping us tell the story about the value of the Great Lakes. And there are people in other counties that want to produce more freshwater institutes in other counties around the Great Lakes Basin. That's because you took the plunge. So I thank you. You put us on the map. Let's give it up for you, okay? I hope that gives a better instruction to our parents and our family members of what we're doing with the students, but you really have made this real, and you've made this a great program. I'm going to be back, I think, with some commendations of you in a few minutes, but just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being who you are. Thanks for taking the plunge and having the courage to enter this program and being the flagship Fellowship Institute. Here's to you. And now here's to my friend Greg Deegan. But thank you very much, everybody.
A little shorter. Hi, everybody. My name is Greg Deegan. I'm the Executive Director of Teaching Place around town. We're known as Teaching Cleveland. We also have a team in Lorain, Teaching Lorain. But we have been honored to work with County Executive Ronane's staff, especially Emily Baca and Janita McGowan, for having the foresight and the ability to put this all together. Big thanks to Teaching Cleveland's Curriculum Director, Brie Lazarchik, and our amazing partners at See You at the Top, Erica and Ebony Hood. Please, where are you? You were somewhere over. Thank you. As soon as we started planning this, the first team we thought of was to work with Erica and Ebony Hood, because they're amazing. So it has been an absolute joy to work with your students, we just have to say. By the way, also big thanks again to the Foundry for being the home of the first Freshwater Institute Fellowship Program. So, quick overview so you know what the kids have been doing. When we recruited students, we aimed for 30 kids. We got 28. I think we have 25 with us today, 24 with us today. And so the idea was to meet monthly here at the Foundry, 9 to 1 p.m., as many of you know, because you were picking up and dropping off your students. But in January, we looked at the natural history of the Great Lakes, and then we looked at the biology of the Great Lakes, and then we looked at the blue economy and opportunities in the blue economy in the Great Lakes watershed. And we looked at recreation and safety, and we looked at environmental justice. And you are looking at a fresh group of people who have been out and about for 4 straight days in our immersive week, which Eric is going to talk about here in just a second. But what I really want to do is give a shout out to the fellows. You guys have been awesome. We have loved working with you. By the way, in between the Saturdays, we would do these Zoom catch-ups. Sometimes we would have guest speakers who would come in. And your students, big thank you to the parents and guardians who lent your teenagers to us. They're curious, they're interesting, they're kind. In an era when kids can sort of blow you off by just looking at their phones and sort of communicating that what you're doing doesn't matter, these kids were with us the whole time. And they were awesome. And the questions that they had for the guests and the partners that we had, especially in the immersive week, but also for many of the people who came here as well. Your students are amazing, and it's been an honor to work with them. So a big thank you. So let's, fellows, give a big round of applause to parents and guardians. So thank you. So one last point I want to make is that Teaching Cleveland does work to develop a love of place that's historically informed. So we do a lot around history, but really what we're trying to do when we do our high school programs is to get kids to feel empowered, to be in the conversations that adults are having every day about important issues that they experience every day. And the last sort of hurrah I want to give to you is that your sense of empowerment about where you want to go and what you've been talking about, both your majors in college that you've talked about and also thinking about what your next steps are, it's really fun to hear you all talk about how you can make a difference in the community, not only in the future, but also today. So thank you for that. Thanks for giving a lot of hope for the adults around you. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Erica Hood, one of our, oh, there you are, hello. So, Erica Hood of See You at the Top.
So everyone is saying our government name, which is See You at the Top, but we go by SIAD. So if you hear SIAD, that's still us. It's still us. It's not 2 different groups. But thank you for the wonderful remarks. Thank you for this great team. Thank you for some wonderful kids that you all had. It's always great as a parent of a teenager to know that my child has home training when he's with other adults and he knows how to act. Like, that's a good thing. So you guys raised wonderful humans who were really a joy to work with. And I think the executive talked a little bit about what we were doing this week. If you have a child who's in our program, you'll notice that when they got home every single day, they probably smell like the elements. We had a busy, busy week that was full of sweaty bike rides, sweaty kayak rides, wonderful plant tours. We learned a lot. We were around poopy water. We were around clean water. And then also visiting some of our friends on the western side of the lake to see how, some of our natural resources are protected and things like that. So we had a wonderful time. We party with a purpose. SciEd's classroom is literally right here, not at the Foundry, but like outside. So all of the learning that we do is immersive and in the spaces where you can see, feel, touch, and experience. And I think that they had a very good opportunity with that. And they'll prove it to us because they're gonna get up and share. Are we doing this now, right? All right. So in no particular order, sorry guys, but our first group is gonna be Lake History and Formation. Our students are gonna come up and share with you all what they learned during their time with us. You took the long way. Here, if you guys need an extra set, you can use that one.
I'm Isabel Carlin from Magnificat High School, and this is our most important knowledge from our lake history. So we said that on June 22nd, 1969, the Cuyahoga River burned for the final time, leading to nationwide coverage. This attention on the tragedy helped to lead to the formation of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the Clean Water Act.
My name is Jayla. I go to Brush High School, and this river fire was so devastating because of not only how rare fresh water is on Earth, but how rare accessible fresh water is. Less than 1% of fresh water is accessible, and Great Lakes account for 21% of that fresh water.
Hi, my name is Lydia, and I go to Euclid High School. We learned that the Great Lakes are formed by glacial movement, specifically the Laurentide ice sheet, and the glaciers were up to 3,000 feet thick, and they carved out most of this region. So.
Hello, my name is Paulette Tomlin, and I attend the School of One at John Adams. And when we talk about the history of Lake Erie, we can't ignore the social history that runs alongside it, especially here in Cleveland. During the Great Migration, Black families came north for opportunities, but were kept out of lakefront neighborhoods through redlining and housing discrimination. Even public spaces like Gordon Park weren't truly accessible. Black residents were often harassed or made to feel unwelcome. And when the Cuyahoga River caught fire from pollution, it was mostly Black communities who lived closest to the environmental damage without the power to stop it. That's environmental racism. Today, people are working to reclaim the shoreline Lake Erie has become cleaner through a combination of international cooperation, regulatory action, and technology advancements, particularly in wastewater treatment and agricultural practices. And all of these actions have been made from the ability to hear everyone's voices, no matter the race or gender.
Takeaways, yes.
Okay. One thing of it was, it's a lot of things that I've taken away from this program. I have bad social anxiety, so to be able to be with teenagers around my age, it was fun to experience. I also learned to care more about our water. Usually I would ride past the lake and just be like, oh, it's just like a whole pool of water, who cares? Now it's it means more to me because we know of the importance to know that it's only 1% of fresh water is accessible in the world. It just makes it more important to us to know that we have the privilege to live by a lake like Lake Erie. So, yeah.
My main takeaway from this program was how the Lake Erie watershed is so vital because of its interconnectedness with watersheds, as well as the sheer number of people who depend on it. And that's something I never really considered until I especially visited the sewage treatment plants and the freshwater drinking water treatment plants, because they were very helpful about describing just how many people depend on these water sources and just how many steps goes into making sure they're safe for everybody.
This program taught me that learning about not only the dangers of how water spaces are affected by climate change, but also learning about what people in the community are currently doing to help is a crucial part of maintaining the Earth's water supply. Hearing about projects like the renovation of part of the Browns parking lot to create a park and an important space for water-related experiences, and hearing about the systems behind how water is recycled is important, as to not lose hope when hearing about the concerning news related to climate change and rather become inspired by others' actions. Hi, guys.
Leah, Jabari, come on up.
Freshwater ecology. And when we say freshwater ecology, we just mean like the life that's surrounding the fresh water, like Lake Erie and stuff, like how the fish and plants and even us humans interact with the lake. So
and those species are also indicative of the health of our lake. And then understanding also the elements that contribute to balance and maintaining ecosystem homeostasis, and also understanding why our actions are important when it comes to our effects on the lake, because
I'm Dominique Anderson. I go to Bedford High School. And another thing that we wrote about was the water bears and macroinvertebrates of Lake Erie. In one of our sessions, we were able to because not only did we get to see a microscope, did we get to use a microscope to see the teeny tiny water bears, but we also learned more about the species in our waters. In addition, we discovered the way both water bears and macroinvertebrates contribute to the environment.
Hi, my name is Jabari Nickerson, and I go to Sugar Heights High School. One of the things we did was create the map of the Great Lakes. And during that session, we created a diagram or map of Great Lakes. We were instructed to make said map with provided materials such as fake leaves, kinetic sand, Play-Doh, fish jars, and etc. In our map, we incorporated aspects of the lakes as such as population, number of fish, depth of water. We represented these factors in such such as using different colored Play-Doh for different depths of water. Through this session, we channeled our creativity, increased our team working skills, and practiced how to work with resources we have. Most importantly, we learned so much about our lakes in just one activity.
Hi, my name is Layla Pamiath. I'm from Richmond Heights High School, and my main what I love and keep caring for our Great Lakes and keep providing for what I like to do. So, yeah.
I think my key takeaway was understanding that I do have a voice even though I'm still in high school, and that I can still make an impact even though I'm not like kids usually aren't listened to as much as people in like professional careers, but I can still do something, and that it's up to me to make that choice to make a difference.
My greatest takeaway from this, my favorite takeaway from this was learning about how the Great Lakes affect our ecology and the environment around them, and how they can provide for
like me and like all of us are responsible for like what we put in the water, like fertilizer and like runoff pollution and stuff. Like we control that, so we affect myself. And I also learned how to socialize with other people because I've been to like multiple different places and I've got to have new experiences, and I've learned
One of my greatest takeaways was probably, and this is probably gonna sound like really cheesy, but like probably make yeah.
Thank you. Thank this group. Go ahead, guys. You can sit down. All right, can I get my Blue Economy group up, please?
Sustainable use of water resources to promote economic expansion and growth. This creates jobs while still taking care of the water resources.
I'm Taylor Sanders, and I go to John Hay High School. Some of the ways we can use the blue economy is all types of seafoods that are sold for food, food, such as fish, crabs, and wind energy and tidal power.
Hi, my name's Jamia, and I go to New Tech West. So before my takeaways, I want to shout out to Miss Erica and Miss Ebony and Mr. Greg for supporting us on the
and other people were better, and we were able to solve like combining what we were good at.
My biggest takeaway is that you don't need a college degree or spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars on like college and stuff that really do something for the economy and help keep the lake profitable. You know, do what you need to do. So.
My personal takeaway from this program is that jobs aren't as scarce as you think they are.
My biggest takeaway was the amount of effort that it takes to have clean water resources and the kind of gift being on a Great Lake is.
My biggest takeaway was the relationship we have with our lake and our environment. From canoeing to swimming in the lake, I think our relationship with the lake is very important.
Any more takeaways? That was it? Great job, y'all. Good job. All righty, can I get our recreation and safety group?
Hi, I'm Jack Cambies, and I go to Mayfield High School. And some of our most important knowledge was that we learned about green infrastructure, which is like kind of like safety features built into trails. Like we saw this big metal grate that was to catch logs that would come down the blocking traffic because there's a boat going there. And I really enjoyed
and safe, a place where families in our community can come together and enjoy the outdoors all together.
A new space for the public, and it will be able to increase our revenue for the city and bring like a bigger group of people and have that closer connection to.
The filtration system of the water coming from the water that we use to use the restroom to water that we can drink. Safe to swim in necessarily, being turned into something that is some water that we can drink was very interesting. And yeah.
My name is Sadie Garcia. Another one of our biggest highlights was that we were able to see the green safety infrastructure. So when you drive by a lot of these structures, you don't think about how important they are, especially for our environment and like how we get around them.
I think it's important that youth are able to experience these different aspects of the lake and the beauty it has to offer, because it wasn't until I was immersed in this program where I was able to realize the significance of the lake, not only for our environment, but for each and every one of us here. And regarding the particular nature of our climate and the degradation of our environment, it's more important now to take measures to prevent and protect our lake against environmental disruption and adversity so that we don't understand or that they've never experienced or that they don't have access to. So these programs are more important than ever so that we as youth can be the next generation to rise and protect what we have and learn how we can be more effective and sustainable for our environment.
My biggest takeaway from this program was that there's like a lot of people who aren't really socially aware of our Great Lakes, and I was one of those people. But thanks to Teaching Cleveland and my cousins here at SIAT, they were able to make this beautiful program that I think a lot of more of our youth should try to join. These months.
Okay, and also I would really like to thank you guys for all coming. Like honestly, I don't know why I'm thanking you guys, but it's meeting you guys. Meeting you guys was very fun.
Was that it's so important to educate people about our freshwater resources. You always hear about like other climate and like environmental issues like global warming and climate change, but you don't hear about issues that we're getting like just in our area and other like big issues because they're So if we have programs like this and education, then people will understand what they can do for this. They can understand like what we need to get.
Hi, so our group is going to start by introducing ourselves first. I am Esther, I am from Gilmore Academy.
Hi, I am Sasha. I'm from Lutheran.
So I'm going to give a quick overview of environmental justice. So basically, we are all experiencing the same.
Hi, so 1960, we really learned about the last river fire. It was not the worst river fire, but it got the most attention, around 20 minutes. And the guy who helped, calm the fires down, program for it, was Carl B. Stokes, the first African American mayor, and he was an environmental justice leader.
Environmental justice movement calls for improvement in environmental structure, river cleanup, and lake safety for swimming. The environment impacts everyone differently. And an example of an environmental injustice, it would be white flight. Thus, urban environmental issues more greatly impacts minority communities.
So right now we're going to talk about two highlights from this session. So one of the highlights is something we did close to the end of the session. So we split up into groups, and then each group read a story and then shared the stories. One of the stories that my group read was about the founding of Freshwater Institute, actually. So the founding story of Freshwater Institute was that the demographic of the decision-making council was not aligned with the demographic of the actual population. So this is a problem. So Freshwater Institute aims to solve this problem to increase equity and inclusion, basically, in decision-making, and to make sure that all the minority populations get represented in the decision-making process. Because in actuality, they are the most affected by environmental issues.
As this was the last Saturday of the program during the semester, as a really nice closing full circle moment, we came back to this map that we had started on the very first day with. And it's a giant map, covers the floor that we can walk on of the Great Lakes and of all really interesting different lenses through which we can view the Great Lakes. And we came back to this map, and there were 4 different categories on little stations on the map, which were education, policymaking, science and ecology, and the blue economy. And these were 4 core components of the solutions that we learned about throughout the Saturdays towards protecting our Great Lakes and the work we can do here. And we brainstormed
about different future opportunities and feedback for the Freshwater Institute and the things that we really loved and where we hope this goes in the future.
And finally, we're going to share our key takeaways from this whole program. And I'm going first. And I mean, I don't know what to say because I really feel so much from this program. And one of the things that I want to say right now is I am just so surprised that this program is so borderless. That's the best way I know how to express this because I really feel that this program has like wiped away some of the borders that we have, like borders of like where we go to school, borders of our backgrounds, our stories, borders of interests, of where we come from. And I feel that it's really impactful that these borders can be temporarily gone within this space. And we're also very encouraged to raise our voices like we are doing right now. And whichever area we go to, whoever we are, which career paths we go on, we're going to be encouraged to raise our voices and speak up for what we believe in.
My biggest takeaway was, well, from this program was how important blue economy jobs are. Like, they help clean the lake, and it's what we drink. Like, it was just so eye-opening to see how important all the jobs were. Like, even a janitor job is important. So it was just very eye-opening to see that.
My greatest takeaway would have to be to take that opportunity. Going into the program, I wasn't sure what I was really like signing up for other than it had stuff to do with water, but it was so much more than I had originally thought it to be, so thank you.
Throughout this program, we had the opportunity to delve into the intersection of freshwater and climate work and the blue economy on the Great Lakes. I now have an actual understanding, an idea of what our role is as young people and what it can be in protecting our waters and serving our community.
Can we give all of our students a huge round of applause? Huge. They were listening, they did the thing, they understood the assignment. I am so proud of y'all. Y'all have me up here so proud. And I'm glad we still have one more day to share together because the love in the room is real. I'm gonna pass it over to Emily now to share some goodies with you guys.
I think I'm good. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Baca, and I'm really proud to serve as the program director for the Freshwater Institute. I joined the team in mid-January, and 2 weeks later, I got to do an immersive program with the Freshwater Institute Fellows. I am absolutely thrilled. I was going to tell you about the importance of immersive education, but I don't have to. The students just did. It's really, really incredible, and I think a couple of us have been getting choked up about how much you've learned and how exciting it is to see the new generation of freshwater stewards coming into our community. As you reflected on your key takeaways, I was reminded of the importance of this first year experience and how we are excited to continue to work with those who want to in a year two experience. And I think that it is, there's no reason, there's no way that we cannot grow this program. So thank you for being our inaugural cohort. We are just so thrilled. I want to really say some thanks, and then we're going to do some handouts of proclamations, and we're going to get back inside before the rain hits in 15 minutes. So thank you, County Executive Ronayne, for your vision in establishing the Freshwater Institute, and specifically this fellowship program. I'd like to echo the County Executive's thanks. Thank you, Councilwoman Turner, for being here. I also want to thank Congresswoman Shontel Brown and the Cleveland Foundation for helping support our Freshwater Institute program and making all of this work possible. I also want to thank our program leads of the fellowship. So I had the first chance to meet Greg on day 2 of my job here at Cuyahoga County in the Freshwater Institute. You've been so warm and welcoming. Bree, you are an organizational mastermind. Thank you for your work. It is incredible. To Erica and to Ebony from SciAt, we had the chance to work together previously, but not in this way, and you are incredible. I think when, Erica, you were talking about this being our space to learn, you are incredible at making sure that it's not only an enjoyable experience, but a really educational one. So thank you both for your leadership as well. And I want to thank each one of our students for diving in. We could do a lot of puns if we wanted to. But you did. You dove into the Freshwater Institute Fellowship Program, and you did that in a way that we didn't know what we were getting into January 2025. And here we are for a really, really exceptional celebration of all of your good work. And so with that, I have some proclamations from the county and from Congresswoman Shontel Brown for each one of our students. And so if I could ask our program leads, so Greg, Bree, Erica, Ebony, and the county executive, to stand over by our Freshwater Institute banner. I'll call the students up to get their proclamations, and then we'll go do some photos over there again before the rain hits.